Hi everybody, it's Julie. Welcome to Hello Monday. Today I'm going to be playing with the Misty stamping positioner to do some negative die cut stamping. I've got my Misty open with the lid swinging to the right because that seems to be the way I like to work with it. And my base card is going to be an A2 size card front. So the card is 4¼ by 5½ inches. And I just wanted to make sure that the pattern paper I'm going to be working with is cut to the exact same dimensions as my card front. And that pattern paper is from the On Trend 2 collection. So now I'm going to go ahead and crease the fold line on my card and get it loaded flush into the left hand corner there of my Misty and use my magnets there to anchor it in place. And I've taken out the cake from the stamp set. This Concord and Ninth Happy Day stamp set is so fun. It comes in a bundle right now where you can get the matching die set together. It's a 31% savings, so I highly recommend if you like this stamp set as much as I do that you get the bundle. Now I'm prepping the surface of my paper with an anti-static pouch because I'm going to be doing some embossing, and I want to make sure that the embossing powder only sticks to where the Versamark ink that I just inked up the stamp with gets applied. So I'm going to apply firm pressure all across the lid of the Misty there to make sure I get a nice clean impression. And then I can go ahead and remove that and apply my gold embossing powder. So I'm using Hero Arts gold embossing powder. I really love how nice and shiny gold. It's very smooth finish. So I'm just making sure I've got good coverage. It's kind of a large image, so I had to hit it a couple times to make sure I got all of it completely covered. And I'm just catching the excess there in a coffee filter so I can funnel it back into the jar for later use. So now I've preheated my heat gun for about 30 seconds, and then I'm just going to go ahead and hit all those areas on that image and make sure the embossing powder is getting nicely melted and nice and shiny, and there's no granular spots left when I'm finished. So that's looking pretty good now. And the next thing to do is to take the pattern paper, and I want to get the cake stamped in the exact same position on the pattern paper. So I'm going to nestle it back into the corner, the same place where I had the base card, use the magnets to anchor it in place. And then I'm going to re-ink the stamp, this time with black ink. And it really does not matter what color ink you use for this part. You just need to have an ink that will provide a nice high contrast, and you can see the image very clearly on the pattern paper. So now I'm getting that impressed on there, and I go ahead and open up the lid and remove my pattern paper. And I'm going to grab the cake die and go ahead and get that lined up because I want to cut that shape right out of the center there of the pattern paper. And I'm using some washi tape just to anchor that in place so that the die does not shift or move when I send it through my Big Shot. So once I have that die cut, I'm actually going to pop that out and reuse those pieces of washi tape. There's a matching banner, a stamp and a die for this particular stamp set, and I wanted to get the banner die cut through this panel because I wanted to create an inlaid effect, and you'll see what I mean here in a minute. But I'm just going to go ahead and use those same pieces of washi tape to anchor the banner die there in place, and I didn't need to cut through the cake, so I just popped it out and set it aside. So now you can see I've got my banner die cut through that cake shape. And now it's time to finish building the window for the shaker card, and I'm going to use some dry runner or tape runner to go around the perimeter here and get a nice sticky adhesive all the way around the edges. And once that's done, I can go ahead and take a piece of window plastic or crystal clear plastic. I've cut that to size, so it's just slightly smaller than the pattern paper piece that it's getting glued to, so that way the edges don't overhang and I don't have to worry about trimming anything off. So there you can see the front of my shaker window is taking shape, and now I'm going to build the box for all my little shaker bits. So I'm just using foam mounting tape. I find that it's pretty quick and easy, and I cut the lengths that I need, and then I'll just go ahead and cut them into even smaller strips so I can fit into those tighter spaces there between the window and the edge of that panel. So once I have all of those pieces in place, I can go ahead and start adding my shaker bits. So it just looks like I need to seal off the top. You do want to make sure that you don't have any gaps in between those lengths of foam tape so that your bits don't fall out. Oh no. So I added a couple more pieces of foam tape there just to make sure that my elevations were equal all the way across that panel. And here you can see I already gold embossed the sentiment happy birthday and the banner and die cut it out. And then I just put more tape runner on the back of that, and then I inlaid it into the shape I had cut out previously. So now it's just time to go ahead and assemble the whole thing. I've got my base card back here in full view, and I'm going to use some washi tape to anchor down the front of the card so it doesn't pop up on me and have my sequins go sliding off the front. And I'm just using some really fun, sparkly, clear and gold, pretty pink posh sequins, and just adding different sizes. I like it when there are different sizes in there, and I just made a little pile of them. You don't want to put too many so that there's too much filler in there to shake around. But I've got a little pile there, and then I'm going to start peeling away the adhesive liner on my window or my shaker front. So I'm just going to go ahead and get it away from some of the edges that I need to anchor down and contain all those sequins. And I'm kind of partially removing it so I can use the excess liner there that's hanging off the edges there, I'm showing you right there, as handles kind of hang on to in case I need to lift that up and reposition it if I don't get it on straight. But this is usually how I get that on, so I have a nice bit of fudge room in case I don't get it on there perfectly straight. Now I've got that in place, I can go ahead and pull the rest of that liner paper out on both sides, and it's all sealed, and all of those shaker bits are completely sealed inside that little window, and they're not going to fall out. I'm just pressing firmly to make sure that they're in there, giving it a little test shake to make sure nothing falls out, and then I'll remove the washi tape and then come back in with my tweezers to get the rest of those liner papers on the smaller foam pieces that are there at the outer corners. And then once that's done, my card is finished, and the recipient will have a good time shaking that card. I've got the inlaid banner there on the front. This went together so quick and easy. I just love the whole shape of the shaker window. We have more still shots available at the Classroom blog, so be sure to stop there, and all the supplies are available at ellenhutson.com. Thanks for watching.